So we will now move to the Q&A session, and I can see there is some questions. Okay, so the first one deals with the difference between the main trains between mean and extreme conditions. So I think maybe Nicola, you can answer to this question. The idea is that the mean on the high quantile of wind and wave will decrease. However, the 50-year extremes will increase by about 10%. So maybe can you explain a bit more why this is the case? And also, how confident are you about the extrapolation to this return value?
Yes, thank you, Yuen, and thank you, Quentin, for the question. Yes, indeed, it may be a bit surprising, but it's a fact that is well documented in the IPCC report that the climate change will induce a change in the mean values, but also a change in the variance, meaning that we have maybe more important on average, but also a much larger spread of the phenomena. So for now, we haven't looked at the causes of this phenomena, especially for as far as I know for waves. Attribution is quite a different task and it is quite complicated. So I'm not able to answer why it does happen, but I can answer on the methodology we use, and which is based on the GEV model and monthly maxima. So using a non-stationary approach to keep, we aimed at keeping a parsimonious model, not to have a too complicated model, and also to be able to have more data than the annual maxima approach. So it's a kind of a trade-off between the bias and the variance problem. So I did not show here all the results, but we looked, of course, at the model spread as shown here, but also we looked at the statistical uncertainty associated with the extrapolation to 50-year return level. And what we see that the results are globally coherent between the models, and that it is we do have some kind of a confidence about the extrapolation, but also to the increase of the extreme events. But to what extent, it's more difficult to say. I hope it answers your question.
It's not the case, Quentin. Do not hesitate to reformulate another question. Okay, then we have a question from Larissa. Is it possible to access the reanalysis hourly data without the CDFT correction for each point for the platform? So in the platform, you will have access to both the reanalysis. I'm not sure of your question because there is two things. There is a reanalysis. And there is the climate model corrected by the CDFT. Maybe it's that you want to mention. You will have access to data. You can download the data, but it's only with a daily time steps, a daily resolution at the moment. Maybe in the future evolutions of the platform, it will be hourly, but it's a bit heavy for the ergonomy of the platform. So it's only daily data at the moment. Another question from Akio. Have you also analyzed the ocean currents to see whether they are also changing, e.g. with regard to the effect on scores or cables? And thank you very much for this exciting project. So thank you, Akio. And you were part of the project at the beginning, I remember. And the answer is no, we didn't have a look to the ocean currents, but only at at the water level evolutions, because we are mainly in for the Atlantic and Channel, we are mainly in tidal currents, so maybe the impact of climate change is a bit limited. But that will be one of the new parameters we will try to investigate in the future project to see more. So thank you, Akio, for this question. Then another question, again for Nicolas. How would you explain the question from Arnaud? How would you explain the increase of extreme wave height in projection while there is no clear increase in extreme wind speed? Yeah, maybe you have already answered it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Well, I don't know how I can explain, but I see two explanations. The first one is that the results we have at for the winds. So as you said, there is no clear increase in the extreme wind speed, but we looked only at few locations next to the coast. The waves are created by the wind that blows very far away from the location we're looking at and travels then back to the location we're looking at. So maybe we do not see trends or evolutions in the locations next to the French coasts. But if there is a shift, for example, in the trajectories of the extreme events, I will not say especially cyclones because I'm not sure they're well represented in the GCMs. But if there is a trend in the extremes, then the wave may change, even if locally the wind do not change. Is the first one I see, and the second explanation, concerns the models that are used to compute the extremes. Here for wind, we have much more models than for the waves. So if we really want to compare what happens for waves and wind, I think that we would need to study wind only for the models that have been used to force the wave model. Because maybe by chance we selected only the models that have higher winds. I don't know. I haven't looked at it, so I cannot answer this question. But it is a two explanation I can see. It's very interesting, and I agree that it's an interesting topic to look at in further work. Again, if it doesn't answer your question, do not hesitate to precise or to get in touch after.
Thank you, Nicolas. Another question from Akio. Are there plans to include regional climate models in the TUSIMO project? And do you think that this will change the results due to the better representation? For the first question, yes, we are planning to include the new Cordex Semipsys datasets, for example, and which will be available during this year or the year after. And do you think that this will change the results due to the better representation? It's a good question. I don't know if Butaina, maybe you want to answer, but I'm not sure we have the answer.
So I think we really have to compare the different results before really to assess if we'll have changes, at least between global models and Cordex models. We don't have the same representation of the different processes in the two kinds of models. So for sure there will be some changes, but we have to understand why we have the changes. The thing that we sure will have to have better representation of winds, for example, is the resolution for sure. So will be around 10 or 12 kilometer resolution, but also regarding the temporal resolution, because here, for example, we have only available the daily time scale resolution. So we managed with the CDFT method to construct a diurnal cycle. So this is maybe not optimal and we'll have access to the diurnal cycle with Cordex data, and also the impact of climate change on this diurnal cycle, whether it will be more variable or not. This is an information that will be really crucial, and it will be provided only with Cordex data. It's actually available for some models, global models, 3 or 4 models, not for 19 models, for example. But we'll have to conduct these different studies to compare the global approach versus the regional approach.
Thank you, Bettina. And Akio, I think you must definitely join the new consortium to see more. Another question from Hélène. Do you have insight into the impact of climate change on the wind turbulence? The answer is no, because at the moment the global model, the global climate dataset we used have not this parameter, but we will have access thanks to newer partners, Météo France and IPSL. In the future project, we will have access to higher resolution climate datasets. At the moment, we are between I think 100 or 200 kilometer of spatial resolution, and we will have access to 2 or 3 kilometers resolution datasets. So we will access to turbulence and also atmospheric stability, for example.
Yeah, and if I may complement, UN, so this is especially for France, but for the other areas, we will probably be able to work with the destinationers data. Destinationers is the new high resolution simulations from the ECMWF, which include both short-term forecasts but also climate projections at least until 2050, and it's at 5 kilometers resolution. So in this kind of models and resolution, there might be some interesting information about turbulence and wind shear and so on.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you, Laurent. I think that's all for the questions. So thank you for these questions.